Hello everybody, Brenda Hillard here at createwithbrenda.com. I'm Brenda Hillard, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have a really fun, quick project for you this morning. Or I should say today. Today is Monday, President's Day, February 15th. And as you know, I always start my videos off with my monthly host code. So for February, if your order is under $150 in product, you'll want to use this host code. And when your when your order is $75 in product, a minimum product order, you not only will get to pick a level 1 item from the celebration brochure, but you will also receive from me the beautiful seashells 3D embossing folder. And if you guys haven't seen this in action, be sure to check out my demonstration video on YouTube later today using the folder. It's it's awesome. So this is a great deal, and I hope you'll take advantage of it. Celebration, like I said, ends in 2 weeks, so less than 2 weeks. So hop on it. February 28th is the last day to order and get the free celebration items, okay? All right, enough about that. So the project I have for you today is really simple, but really pretty, and you can use it with a variety of different designer series papers, and it's a great one to use up scraps of designer series paper too. So let me show you what I've got for us today. What we're going to be doing is we will be using, let me grab one thing, sorry. I thought I had everything here, but you know. So we're going to be using papers from the Fine Art Floral. These are 12 by 12 sheets. They can be found in the JJ Mini, January through June mini catalog. And what we're going to be doing is just cutting little 1" by 4" strips from the paper, and you can kind of pick and choose whichever patterns, like, is what I guess is what I want to say is get inspired by your paper, okay? So look at it, kind of see what you see that will look good together. And as you can see on mine, I chose this paper and this paper. And I know that these look different tones, but I'll show you. This is how that paper works on the back. It goes from dark to light. So let me bring in my trimmer here, and I'm going to show you, or I'm going to demonstrate at least, what I did for my card. And I simply took my Stampin' Up! Trimmer, and we know that the dark gray is the cutting and the light gray is the scoring, right? So I'm just going to cut a 1" strip from this paper, and then I'm going to cut 4 inches, 4 inches, and this one should be 4 inches as well, because it's a 12 by 12 sheet. All right, so I'm going to put my trimmer to the side, and now we've got our 3 strips. I have 1 piece of gray granite cardstock, and this cardstock measures 4 by 5 1/4. And so what I wanted to show you with these is when you flip them over, you can choose your lighter and darker patterns. So I think for this one, I would go this, and then that one for my other piece. Okay? Kind of cool, huh? All right, so let me bring in my piercing mat. And the stamp sets I'm going to use today is the art gallery that goes with the fine art floral paper. It's part of that suite. And I'm going to be using this stamp from the set. And then the sentiments, I'm going to use this With Deepest Sympathy, and then Thinking of You with All My Heart, come from this set, The Peaceful Moments. And if you don't have this set, this is a great sentiment set. It's kind of all around. You've got your birthday, sympathy, thank you, congratulations. It's just a really great set. And it can be found in the annual catalog, the big catalog, okay? All right. So we're gonna do a little tone on tone stamping here. And I just wanna turn my mat. I'm gonna use the gray Granite ink and bringing in that floral stamp from the art gallery here. I'm just going to ink up, and I'm going to stamp in the upper corner, or starting in the upper. You guys, I just re-inked my pad, so it's pretty dark, but you'll see when it dries, it actually dries a little bit lighter. And if you want to, you can just you can stamp off and do a second generation stamp too, which is nice, and I'll show you here. It just gives a little bit different look. Okay, so that's going to be my background. I'm going to try something a little different. These are dark and I just don't want to take the time for those to dry. So I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp on, ink up, stamp off, and then stamp on my background piece. Yeah, I like this a lot better. And I'm just going to do the 2 for right now, okay? So let's bring in our strips again that we talked about. I'll get rid of my stamping pad. I'm going to take wherever my little, here it is, Stampin' Seal. And what I want to do is just add my adhesive to the first strip. And I'm just gonna, it really is random. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna put this one on. I'm gonna ink this, or not ink, get some seal on there so I can adhere it. I'm gonna go up, and then I'll put some snail on this one. And again, just random. And you guys, if you haven't watched me before, I'm pretty straight lined, everything's kind of precise. So this is really stepping out of the box for me, which I love. And it also helps me use up these scraps of paper. So now is what I'm going to do. Remember, your paper always has 2 sides. You can change your mind just like I did here. All right, I'm just gonna add a little piece of the gray Granite, and this ribbon is so pretty. It's a shimmer ribbon. And I'm just gonna put that right around here so that it's adhered on the back. All right, And then I'm going to finish adding Snail to the entire back of my card. I'm going to bring in my standard card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Okay. A little bit of adhesive on there. Okay. So I'm just going to put this down on my card. And then for my sentiment, I want to use one of the dies. So you can do dies or punch, whatever your sentiment will fit on. And I'm going to use the dies from the Tasteful Label dies. And these are really, really pretty because it not only die cuts, but it embosses the edge of your label. So here's my mini, which I love. I'm going to put in platform 1, cutting plate number 2, and as you can see, my cutting plates are well loved. And then I'm just going to place my die on here and my cutting plate up to it. Now, the one thing I want you to notice is that I do not have my plate edges lined up evenly, which is exactly what you want for the mini. And you guys, I apologize for twisting and turning, but I'm very right-handed. So then I just roll my plates through, and here's our die. And I hope that little edge shows up. It usually doesn't, but I'm hoping it does today. Just this little embossed edge, and it makes your label look so elegant. And in this set of dies, there's several of them. So there's 6 that have the stitched edge, and then there's 4 of the embossed edge. So check that out. This is a great set of label dies to have in your arsenal, so to speak. All right, so then I'm going to bring our gray granite pad back in, and using the With Deepest Sympathy from our Peaceful Moments set, I'm going to just ink up, and I'm going to stamp. All right. And while I have my ink out, I'm going to bring our card in. And the sentiment I'm going to use inside is thinking of you with all my heart. So I'm going, and that again too is from Peaceful Moments. So I'm going to ink it up and then just stamp it. And you heard me say earlier that because I had just re-inked my gray granite pad, I'm just going to clean my stamp quickly from the gray granite, and I'm going to use just a little bit of crumb cake because it's a lighter color, and I want to be able to, I'm just going to bring this in again because then I can stamp off. And stamp right over my sentiment. Scoop this up a little. How pretty is that? Can you see how you still get your sentiment, but you just have that pretty background? Okay. All right. I'm going to just quickly close my ink pads because I have a tendency to set things right in them if they're open. All right, so now I'm going to take our label and just add some of our regular size, standard size dimensionals to the back of our sentiment. And just place that right here on the card. And then for those of you that are not bow tiers, that don't like to tie bows, this is a simple way. You saw me put the ribbon around earlier, and then you can just simply tie a knot. And then this knot slides a little bit on there too, so you can position it however you need to, so it's not like I didn't want it covering my sentiment there. And this is that beautiful gray granite shimmer ribbon from the annual catalog. So last, I'm going to bring in our pearl basic jewels, and I want the dark Stampin' Blend alcohol marker. And that's all I'm going to do is, there's a paintbrush end and there's a bullet end for coloring. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to color a few of the pearls. That one's wanting to move around on me, but that's all right. I got it. And then with the, whoops, the take your pick tool, and bring my card back in. When you color these, give them just a minute to dry, and I'm going to add those onto my, whoops, that one stuck to me, onto the label. I'm just shooting them everywhere here. All right. So there. How pretty is that? Right? And who wouldn't love to get that? All right. So then the last but not least, and you know that I say it all the time, but there are no naked envelopes allowed at Create with Brenda. So I'm just going to bring in, I'm going to use the crumb cake for that very same reason that my gray granite is just a little bit juicy right now. So I'm going to bring in the crumb cake ink pad, and right down here in the bottom corner of my envelope, I'm just going to stamp that flower. So now everything coordinates, and you have quick and easy cards, and yet they're quite beautiful. Give it a try. I would love to see your creations. I do have a Facebook crafters page. It's a private group. You do need to ask to join. A bunch of very talented women, and we're very kind and complimentary on that, in that group. So don't be afraid to join and to post your creations. I give away, I have a little prize drawing each month for people that participate. So check it out on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, it's Create with Brenda Crafters. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.